Let me tell you something nobody tells you when you fall in love with an older man. Yes, the love of my life is 30 years older than me. They warn you about the age gap. Oh yes, everybody becomes a mathematician. 25 years older, like I adopted him from a retirement home, but nobody warns you about what happens 25 years later. Because one day, and listen carefully, you wake up next to the man you still love, and sex has quietly packed its bags and moved to Florida, and you didn't even see it leave. When we met, we were unstoppable. 3 times a week, sometimes 4 if Netflix was boring. I was young, which meant sleep was optional, but sex wasn't. He was experienced. He believed in moderation. I believed in repetition. And let me tell you something. There is nothing that inflates a young man's ego faster than hearing a grown man look at your eyes afterward and say, "I have never experienced sex like this before. Oh, honey." My chest expanded like a size 30 shirt trying to contain a size 40 body. I walked differently. I cooked better. I probably paid taxes with more confidence, because men, let's be honest tonight, we pretend we are evolved, but a big part of our pride lives right here. Yes, that department. And then time shows up. Not dramatically. Time doesn't kick the door open. Time whispers. 3 times a week becomes once a month. Once a month becomes, well, we're tired tonight. Then I have to check the hormometer. You know, the device used to measure my husband's level of sexual interest, and suddenly, intimacy requires scheduling, lighting conditions, hydration, emotional alignment, and possibly a cardiologist. Let's not forget the legs cramp. Now here's the part nobody laughs about publicly. When erections start fading, especially for a man who was a top or versatile, it's not just sex that disappears. It feels like manhood itself filed for retirement, and HR approved it immediately, because society teaches men one dangerous lie. If you can perform, you matter. If you can't, you apologize for existing. And I watched the man I loved, strong, confident, irresistible, start negotiating with his own body, with his thoughts. Suddenly pills appeared in our relationship. Hope appeared. Side effects appeared. Nothing ruins romance faster than saying, "Give me 15 minutes, the medication is activating." Suddenly sex feels less like passion and more like launching a satellite. And here's the cruel part. He wasn't the only one grieving, because I was grieving too. And here's something nobody prepares the younger partner for, but he needs to be aware of. Love slowly becomes educational. You learn words you never expected to learn inside intimacy. Prostate enlargement, diabetes, circulation problems, medication interactions. Suddenly, desire is no longer only emotional, it's medical. You begin to understand that erections are not controlled by love, or attraction, or even willpower, but blood flow, hormones, nerves, fatigue. And the cruel irony is this. The man still wants you, his body just stopped negotiating fairly. So intimacy changes. Touch replaces urgency. Patience replaces instinct. And sometimes, agreement replaces spontaneity. Because love eventually asks a terrifying adult question. What do we do when one body still burns, and the other one is fighting simply to keep up? Nobody talks about the younger partner's guilt. Where you are in a monogamous relationship and you are 30 years younger than your husband, your body still wants. Your desire still wakes up enthusiastic every morning like a golden retriever. I call it wood morning. And you start asking yourself, am I selfish? Am I disloyal? Or am I just alive? So yes, one night, I still remember, I was in the red zone, almost in the overheat zone. I downloaded the app. You already know which one. Don't act innocent. Half of you still have it installed. Just to check messages. I told myself it was curiosity. 5 minutes later, a man appears in my screen. Close by. Hotel room available. no complications. So, I went. And afterward, dramatic music playing in my head. What appeared to give me a happy face, it turned an awkward moment. As I walked to my car feeling released, mysterious and sinful, there he was. My husband's car parked right next to mine. Because apparently marriage now includes GPS surveillance. Life 360 showed my location. I didn't get caught cheating. I got caught by technology. We went home, and I prepared for screaming. But instead, he asked something worse. He said,
"Are you already leaving me?"
And let me tell you something. Nothing destroys your ego faster than realizing the person afraid isn't you, it's him. The man worried that aging had turned him into someone lovable, but no longer desirable. Less than a man. We talked. Real talk. Ugly talk. Honest talk. The kind of conversation couples avoid for years because politeness feels safer than truth. We tried everything first. Pills. Hope in small blue packaging. Then stronger pills. Side effects arrived before results did. Doctors suggested injections. He looked at me and said quietly, and I understood. We also invited a third person. And listen, it solved one problem and created another. Because one night I looked over, and the man I loved looked like a guest in his own marriage. He was left out. That broke me. Because at some point intimacy stops feeling human and starts feeling clinical. So we faced something harder than aging. Truth. The truth that love was still alive, but our bodies were no longer living in the same timeline. And one night, after many uncomfortable conversations, he said something that changed everything.
"If your body still needs that part of life, I don't want you to disappear from me to find it."
So we made an agreement. Not secrecy, not hotel rooms, not lies. Home remained home. He allowed me to meet others, only here, at home, where he knew I was safe. He didn't participate. He didn't watch. He simply existed nearby. Not as permission, but as protection. And strangely, that was not the end of intimacy. It was another form of it. Because love survived. Even when sex needed assistance. Because love sometimes means accepting that fidelity is not always about exclusivity, but honesty. And here we are, still imperfect, still learning, still choosing. 25 years later, less sex. Yes. Less love. Not even close. Because here is what nobody tells men about aging. Erections may fade, but intimacy evolves. Masculinity is not only what your body can do, it is how you stay when things become difficult. We still hold hands. We still laugh. We still choose each other every morning. And sometimes sex happens. Sometimes it doesn't. But love. Love stopped depending on performance a long time ago. So, if you are sitting here tonight wondering, am I still enough? Let me answer you. You were never loved only for what you could do in bed. You were loved for who stayed afterward. And trust me, that man is still here. Nobody warned us about this part. But honestly, it might be the most intimate chapter of all.